Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Good Evening Talk. Tonight, we're going to do a video on perseverance. And this is really a very important topic for me. I love perseverance. Of course, perseverance is never giving up, right? But what we're never giving up is not so much our processes, our actions, and all these other things that we have going on. Never giving up means that we never stop trying to shift or working towards shifting away from the identity. Now, what does that mean? Our identities are our preconceived, predetermined habitual habits, patterns, and behaviors. Okay? When they are in control of our lives, our actions are just that, predetermined. We are not in control of our actions. Our habitual patterns are. Our habitual processes are. Our habitual behaviors are in control of our life. When we want to create something different than the results that our habitual patterns and habits create, we can't create that. See, what we focus on is what we create. And if our habits are aligned to getting up at 8 o'clock in the morning, but we want to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, but our habitual patterns are in charge, we're not going to make that change. We might for a little bit, but we're going to revert back and be up at 8 a.m. instead of 6 a.m. All right? This is one of the reasons why when we want to go to the gym, we don't end up following through, staying consistent, going to the gym, because our habitual patterns take over. When we decide we want to do something new, we're deciding right now we want to do something new. And let's say that's over a 2-week period. Well, our habitual patterns have been happening for years, not 2 weeks. The stronger force is always going to prevail. The more time, our habitual patterns are always going to be stronger than our predetermined choice at that point in time, or our determined choice at that point in time. So the identity will always be in control of our life unless we shift and decide, no, we're going to take different action. The second we decide we're going to take different action, that's when we allow ourselves to create new results in our life. It's when we allow ourselves to create new results in our life. So what does this look like? Our identity will take over and take control. When the identity takes over and takes control, we're not in control of our life. Our previous habits are. How do we fix that? How do we change it? We become consistent in our life. We shift from the identity into our desired state, into us as the creator. Okay? We all have the ability to create. We create through our choices. We create through our actions. When the identity is in control, our creation's predetermined. When we take over and allow ourselves to take action, we're now in the driver's seat. We're now the pilot. We're now the captain. We're able to take action. Perseverance is all about allowing ourselves to take the action necessary to live the life that we want to live, not the results of our predetermined choice, not the results of our habitual patterns, habits, and behaviors. That's what perseverance is. Now, how do we do this? How do we make these shifts? Well, the first thing we have to do is become aware of the identity. If we're not aware of the identity, we don't know the triggers or how we get triggered. Well, if you don't know something, you can't ever move away from it. You can't change what you don't know. So you have to get to know when and how the identity takes control. When you figure that out, you have that awareness, you can be aware when the identity is in control. When you know the identity is in control, you can shift away from it. How do we create awareness? Meditation. And I'm not talking about necessarily sitting down, meditating for 30, 40, 50 minutes, 60 minutes, 2 hours, whatever it might be, or spending your whole time in constant meditation to just be still, quiet your mind and increase your awareness. That's not what I'm talking about here. The idea of life is to live it. You can't live your life when you're spending X amount of time meditating. You live your life by taking action, experiencing new things. The key is to create the awareness and become still. Quiet the mind. So tonight I'm going to give you a meditation, guided meditation for stillness. All right, so you're going to get a guided meditation for stillness that you can start practicing yourself. Now, the practice of meditation, I need you to understand something. It's a practice. Don't think you're going to start meditation immediately, your mind's going to be quiet. You might be able to go a second, 5 seconds, maybe even 10 seconds before you have a thought. And all of a sudden you have a thought, you lose track of what you were focusing on, and your mind's already racing, and you're no longer focused on your breathing, focused on a quiet mind, focused on your thoughts. You're all over the place. Just allow yourself to come back to that focus when you realize that you're not there. Don't beat yourself up. You haven't done anything wrong. In fact, in my viewpoint, there are no mistakes. Why do I say there's no mistakes? Because there's either actions that your identity is taking through your behaviors and your habits, or there's actions that you're taking aligned to your desired creation. There's no mistakes. You either learn or you allow yourself to take all the actions you've taken before. That's life. Where's the mistake? So practice the meditations. Another thing that I'm going to recommend is a book, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. The Power of Now is actually a very good book describing what the now is. And what is the now? It's right here in this moment, as I call the threshold of creation. The now is nothing more than being here present in this moment. And what this book is going to do is describe that very clearly for you and what that means to be in the now and the power of that. Awareness or stillness meditation can help you practice in the now as well. And then we have shifting techniques and healing techniques. Shifting techniques I'm going to get into my podcast. My first podcast session is going to actually be available this next week. Okay? I'm going to get into some shifting techniques in that podcast. Trying to teach, shifting techniques in this type of environment that's going to be, to me, that's too difficult to do with individuals' belief systems. We can only do in the context of beliefs. And our actions are only aligned to our beliefs. And when I'm dealing with a audience that has multiple different types of beliefs, trying to pinpoint a process that works for everybody will be largely difficult when you're dealing with shifting techniques. But what I can do is I can help you with triggering techniques. And what does that mean? When your identity is triggered, you can become checked out. The identity is in control, and you're no longer taking the actions that you want to be taking. You basically lose focus. And the identity's now in focused and in power and in control, because what we're focused on is what we create. So when the identity is the one that's the focused power, it's the one that's in control. You're not. So when you do trigger techniques, what you're doing is you're healing. You first become aware of the triggers through meditation, then you heal the triggers. See, once you're aware of them, you can do something about them. And now you can go back and you can heal the triggers. Some of those healing techniques that you can do, one that I recommend, the healing codes. Dr. Alexander Lloyd has a book called The Healing Codes. If you're interested in healing triggers, I would highly recommend that book. Another thing that you can do is tapping. You can just do a YouTube search on tapping and you will find a bunch of individuals out there tapping. One of the reasons why I'm not teaching these things, other people are already doing it. One, why reinvent the wheel? Two, why not send people to other places of people are already doing it and finding success in that. So we've got meditation to increase the awareness. We have triggering healing through the healing codes and tapping. And we have getting to know and understand the power of being in the now, in this moment, and what that means through the power of now by Eckhart Tolle. And then we're going to get into other techniques of how we can process some more of this information, how we can heal ourselves in our podcast. And that will be available on Tuesday, and I will give everybody that information then. So, that's perseverance. This is how we never stop working towards keeping ourselves in control, in the seat of control of our life, where we are the captain of our vessel, moving us towards our chosen direction rather than allowing the identity to take control of our life. And that's all what perseverance is. And when we persevere, we learn and we grow, and we take that information back to our process, and we grow into our process by making adjustments based upon the lessons. When we don't learn and allow the identity to take control, our story, our narrative, all of our strategies, all of our habits play out repetitiously. And when it's done playing out, we got to go back to the beginning of the process and start over again, because we have to now get honest with ourselves again and who we are, who we want to be, what we want to create, and what actions we're going to create. And then we can start moving through the process again. Then the identity is going to take back control, because that's human nature to do. Nothing of our faults. We're not to blame for it. It's habitual. The habits will take over, and it's all about becoming aware of when that happens so we can shift away from that and heal the triggers. If there's any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. Leave comments in the comment section of creation.com. This is very important, and it's going to be extremely helpful for you in determining or really allowing yourself to continuously take action towards what you want and what you want to create in the life that you want to live. Very important also in creating gratitude and higher levels of joy, because it's through perseverance that we grow. Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., Good Morning Talk session. We're going to be talking about clarity. Clarity is really that spiritual connection that we start to create with creation itself. It's that spiritual creation of understanding. So tomorrow morning, we're going to get into that video. Very important as well, because that's where we accentuate ourselves into the connection of our spirituality and not just in the material world. Thank you so much for attending tonight. I really appreciate it. If you found this information helpful, please like the video. Make sure you subscribe. It's so helpful in growing this channel and allowing us to do what it is that we do, which is coaching and helping individuals like you create the life that you want to live, and giving you techniques and coaching strategies that you can utilize to make those changes in your life. Thank you everyone for attending and watching. I appreciate it. Have a great night. Enjoy.